Okay, Jeff's back. League race time. This one's at Brazil. I love Brazil. This is one of my favorite tracks, I would have to say. I got my first pretty good league result in this league at Brazil, actually, last year. I think that was pretty much my first good one. I've raced this previously on Gran Turismo Sports. I really just like the track a lot. I think it's a lot of fun. I like the curves and everything. So overall, I'm just a big fan of the Brazil track. So just keep that in mind throughout the whole video that this is a track that I enjoy. There are other tracks I don't enjoy that I also post videos from, but this is one of my favorite tracks. And this was another fun race. I'll go ahead and tell you, I don't win. I know that people are looking for my win. I get all kinds of comments and DMs about how they want to see me get my first win. It's not in this race. Sorry to spoil it. But we are out here going for either 5 or 6 races in a row with points. So we're going to do our absolute best here to just put some points on the board, be smart, be successful, be fast, and do everything I can. You're seeing my one-shot qualifying lap right now. I don't think it was perfect. I don't think it was great. I think it was decent. So let's see what that gives me. So I'm across the line right there, and then we fast forward a little bit, and you see the results, and it looks like I am P13, which is not very good. That's just not very good. I think we only had 18 for this race, if I'm not mistaken, but you are going to see it in just a second. Yes, we had 18, 2 disqualified. I was at 109.502, which is pretty far down there, so that's a bummer. But we're going to see what we can do. Start P13. We get off the line decently well, but not super well. I'm just really focused on being careful here. If you watch my videos, you know that I really try to be careful at the start and not ruin my race. So that's what I'm doing here. It's a good thing we have ghosting because I went into the side of that Red Bull. But I do get around KB there, who ghosted and then returned. Had a little bit more speed than, who was that, Kung Fu Panda? So I'm going down this first long stretch here. I am P12 after starting P13, which I think is decently successful. Probably could have been higher given the fact that it looks like a couple of people spun there. So you see here that we get a virtual safety car, which almost immediately turns into a full safety car. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that, as I tend to do sometimes. It's just not that interesting. But I did pit. I went into the pits along with pretty much everyone else on the first lap. There were a couple people who did not pit until the second lap of the safety car, and so those guys have been slotted in behind me. So I think I went from P12 there and then pitted, and then it was P9 after we all came out of the pits, and here as we're going into this restart here. So I'm P9, which is not too bad, I would say, given I started P13. I've now pitted, and I have tires for the rest of the race, although that's a completely different question of whether I should have pitted there, because we typically get 2 safety cars in every race. I mean, we've had races where we don't get 2 safety cars, but for the most part, we get 2 safety cars in every race. But you see right there, I hit the curb, I spun, and I was in trouble there. I didn't leave Fonzie enough room, I don't think, on the outside, and he got that. But I did pick up a place there, passing Chris KYU62, who spun, but Fonzie's passed me and is almost a second clear of me now at this point. And I've got Ghost on my tail, who, if you've watched previous videos, you know is probably a faster racer than I am. So that is somewhat concerning for sure. I've definitely got to try to hold him off as best I can. But the bad news is that I'm not always the best at holding him off. So we're certainly going to try to do everything that we can here, but I don't have the greatest faith that I will be able to hold off Ghost for the rest of the race. But I absolutely will try. We've got a good 14 or 15 laps left to try to hold him off. So let's see what we can do. Got a little time on him, but he's gonna get DRS as soon as DRS is enabled. I don't think it is yet, given that we have only recently come out of the safety car. But next lap he'll get that DRS, and he should be all over me, assuming that he's still within range. I did see Fonzie get a little not a spin, but a little snap of steer there. And like I said, I hit the curb last time, but I don't think that I could have really held off Fonzie anyway. Fonzie's faster than I am. But hey, I would have tried, I guess, at least. So you see Ghost behind me, Boy for Jesus behind him. Both guys who are faster than I am. So it's really going to be about me being consistent and trying to keep them behind me, and maybe defending a little bit if I get the opportunity to. Ghost, I think, got a better entry to one of those corners that I sort of didn't get a great entry on, and I usually don't get a great entry on that turn, honestly. So it wasn't that atypical, but I certainly could have done more to keep him further behind me, I guess. The bad news here is that I'm slightly out of DRS range, whereas Ghost is within DRS range. Boy for Jesus has DRS, so it's as soon as we get DRS, I'm in big trouble because I'll have a train behind me of guys with DRS and who are faster than I am anyway. You see, DRS is now enabled. You do not get it on that straight since it just started, but we will get it on this straight coming up right here. So it's going to be a test of whether or not I can defend against Ghost because he's got, look at that, he's already about to pass me. He doesn't even have DRS yet, but he's now got DRS open, and there he goes. And I tried to give him the room, but also squeeze him as much as I legally could. We do end up making contact there. I get knocked off my line a little bit. And then as soon as Ghost goes by, Boy for Jesus takes the opportunity for me sort of taking a tumble there and passes me as well. So I went wheel-to-wheel with Ghost and ended up losing 2 places, which was a bit unfortunate. But, hey, I guess it happens sometimes. It's not like I've always benefited from everything. But I do have KB behind me as well, so I'm going to try to keep him back there. He's, again, a faster racer. So is Jerdy, actually. You know what? I'm actually seeing a recurring theme here. Everybody's faster than I am for the most part. So the only thing that keeps me in races is consistency and aggressive defending maneuvers. So you really just gotta know your strengths, I guess, and play to them. At the moment, I'm in trouble. So I should get DRS here behind Boy for Jesus. So that at least will hopefully help me keep KB behind, but we'll see. Here you go with the DRS engaged. I don't really have any ERS, but I am getting squeezed from both sides, which was real unfortunate. I try to keep Jerdy somewhat away from me while still staying on the track, but he just I think I was maybe somewhat worried there being between Jerdy and KB, and then they just sort of dusted me a little bit. So there's that. Now I have Chris KYU62 behind me, who is faster, but if you've watched my videos, you know that he maybe is a little more inconsistent than I am. He's got more straight line speed, but I think that he struggles to stay on the track a little better. So, you know, this is a real battle of 2 different driving styles, I think. The pure speed with lack of consistency versus pure consistency with lack of speed. So you do see another safety car coming out here, which I had forgotten about, but here it comes. So I'm P11. You see the safety car hits. I'm up to P6 from people pitting in front of me, which is pretty nice. So Ghost is behind me again, and J-Rack actually is right behind him. So this is one of those things where J-Rack is certainly a fast racer. Ghost is certainly a fast racer, so it seems like I'm going to get another opportunity to lose a spot to Ghost in this race, and I should get an opportunity to lose a spot to J-Rack as well. I went wide there, and I was just kind of a little bit screwed. I didn't mean to go that wide. I managed to keep these guys behind me, or they managed to avoid me, I guess. You see J-Rack there. I feel him inside. I know he's going to get that space. I need to try to close out as much as I can to the guys behind him. And that's what I try to do. Try to slot in right behind J-Rack there. You see somebody go off the track. Who was that? I don't know. I actually missed it. I don't know. That wasn't rhetorical. I don't know who it was. I missed it. But I'm trying to stay right behind J-Rack here and just kind of slot in, keep this P6 position as long as I can, as deep into the race as I can. J-Rack is quickly getting out of range. I'm hoping that I can stay in range until DRS World so that I can try to stay within a second of him, because if he gets outside DRS range, then there's no way that I can catch him. But if I can keep him within DRS range, then hopefully I could stay a little bit within a second and stay into it and hopefully fend Ghost off for at least a moment there. So you see me actually get the DRS. Oh, I guess it's not enabled yet because we were just on a safety car, so never mind. Completely ignore that. I don't have any chance to get him. I almost went too deep there and hit J-Rack. Ghost kind of almost went too deep and hit me, but he managed to stay away, but he did lose a little bit of time there. You see me hit the ERS as I try to catch up with J-Rack here. I'm hoping I can get him at the end of the straight, but he just has a little more speed than me, and I'm unable to catch him. But I am staying pretty close to him, I would say, keeping pretty much within his toe there. I get a decent corner here. I'm about 3/10 off J-Rack. Ghost is 3/10 off me. We're keeping it super close, and I know we're going to get another opportunity here as the DRS zone approaches. With two DRS zones, a pretty quick succession, honestly. So it should be an interesting little run up here. But I'm staying just a little bit within range. And I think I've told you guys that I did move to medium traction control after being a full assist guy, full traction control, and all other assist guy. I moved to medium traction control, and I've been doing that now for a couple weeks, and I'm feeling much more confident, and I'm feeling better. You see me get inside J-Rack there. Just tapped his back. That's so unfortunate. I just misplayed it and just tapped him in the back, and then I think I had slight wing damage for the rest of the race here. I'm inside Incident. I braked a little bit earlier than Incident did. I'm trying to keep Skyland and Whizbang behind me, the two Red Bulls. No promises, but I'm going to do what I can. And it's just really unfortunate there with J-Rack because I was racing with him, I mean, and look, another one, just two sloppy incidents in a row there, just hitting guys in the back. And that was a really aggressive move by Skyland there, I would say. I think if I didn't give him the room, we would have made contact. Maybe I shouldn't have given him the room. Actually, in retrospect, I don't think I should have given the room, but I think I was a little gun shy after just making contact with J-Rack and then Incident in pretty close quarters to each other, and I was just sort of trying to stay off of other cars on the track and run my own race here a little bit. But I get a little bit of DRS help there to catch Skyland, but unfortunately I hit the grass and I go way too deep, and then I come back on and make contact with Whizbang, which is brutal stuff. Just really not great. Really unfortunate. I am lucky enough to not have significant damage at this point, given I've now made contact with three cars, treating this a little bit like a NASCAR race. The last one was probably the most egregious just because it was a result of an error and then a correction on my part. So that's probably the worst of the three, I would say. Although I'm not proud of hitting J-Rack or Incident in the back, but the Whizbang contact is the one that probably had the potential to be the worst. You see Whizbang and Ghost fighting it out there. They actually had quite a good battle here in the midfield. And, of course, I benefited from this because these guys going wheel to wheel really helped me get the opportunity to catch up a little bit and get within DRS range here going into the straight and hopefully pick up one of these positions back. I did exceed track limits there, unfortunately. This is just like a really uncomfortable position here. So we got Whizbang and Ghost. I backed off because I felt like it was a recipe for disaster in hopes that I could pick up this spot again. And you see me go right inside of Whizbang there, and I think he might have gotten damage at some point because I was just able to take that spot from him pretty much with ease. But I was certainly happy with that, with the way that worked out. I thought that was pretty nice for sure. So that was good. And now Whizbang is almost a full second off me. Ghost is a full second ahead of me. So it's really just a matter of trying to stay here in this little pocket and see what I can do. So Ghost pretty quickly ran away from me, and I was able to keep Whizbang pretty far back. Like I said, he may have had damage, but something that did start to develop here near the end is the fact that Alex Kuko 27 right behind me is on softs, and I later found out that he pitted I think he pitted 3 times during the race and had a drive-through and somehow managed to be in P10 fighting against me for P9. I guess he's just faster than I am. I don't know. Or his pitting happened really opportunistically with some of the safety cars. But you see, when I restarted the video on lap 17, he was like 3.5 seconds back from me. Going into lap 18, he's roughly 2.8 off. He's on the softs. He's faster than I am anyway. So he's really making up some ground here. So he's down to 2.7 as we go to the straight. And I don't know what setup he was running, but it's possible that may have been helping him a little bit as well. So at this point, I am very conscious of him being behind me, and I'm just trying to stay on the track essentially. because this is somewhat scary for me. Down to 2.3-ish seconds. And then, I'm running okay at this point. I was maybe a little sloppy there, and he gained some time. It's a little over a second now. It's now a little under a second. So at this point, I'm pretty sure that he's going to get DRS. Like, that's how close we are. And the question is just, will he have enough DRS on the straight to catch me? And it's very, very close here. 0.6 seconds behind me, 0.4. He's roughly 0.4 behind me. I hit the ERS. I'm full bore at this point. I'm just trying to stay ahead of him. And we're coming up on the DRS zone. And I'm lucky enough to stay in front of Alex, beat him by 0.373 seconds. I made it as close as I possibly could, I think. But kudos to him for almost catching me. That was a really good run there. So that's a P9 finish. It's not my best race. I made contact a few times, but I did feel like I did a good job of not losing my head after making the contact and just staying on the track and staying alive and living to fight another day and keeping up the point streak. I think I'm now at 5 or 6 races in a row with points. So I'm happy with that. I love that. So that's the race. We got one more left, and then we're on to season 3. So I'll see you guys for another one.